In the heart of New Orleans, under the gentle glow of the streetlights, Adam stood on the corner of Bourbon Street, scanning the lively crowd. Laughter drifted through the night air as live jazz filled the atmosphere. Adam, a tall man in his 30s with tousled hair and deep-set eyes, was here for a much-needed break, a chance to clear his mind after months of working late and worrying about his job. As he walked down the bustling street, the magic of the city enveloped him. For once, he didn't feel the weight of deadlines or the pressure of corporate life. He found himself smiling, caught up in the rhythm of the city, but soon he realized he was a little lost. The hotel he had booked was somewhere nearby, but the winding streets were more confusing than he thought. He stopped and looked around, the vibrant energy mingling with his sense of uncertainty. Just then, he spotted a bellhop standing under the awning of the historic hotel across the street. The bellhop was a young man around 20 with a crisp uniform and a warm smile. The bellhop looked as if he had been doing this job for a while, watching the parade of guests with a mix of amusement and kindness. Taking a deep breath, Adam crossed the street, his shoes tapping against the pavement. "Excuse me," he said, his voice slightly hesitant but clear. "Could you help me find the Hotel Waltz?" The bellhop replied, instantly paying full attention. There was something about the way he smiled, open and genuine, like he was happy to help. In that fleeting moment, Adam's heart lifted. It was a simple word, but it carried a weight that surprised him. In the corporate world, he had been Adam or Mr. Simmons a million times, often with a hint of detachment, but Sir felt different. It felt respectful. It felt validating. The bellhop pointed towards the street ahead. "Just head down this road for a block, then take a left at the cafe." "Thank you, I appreciate it," Adam replied, feeling lighter already. He waved as he turned to leave, the bellhop's laughter ringing in his ears. As he walked away, something within him stirred. It wasn't just the warm breeze or the enchanting sounds of the city. It was the simple acknowledgement of his presence. It was a moment of clarity. Deep down, Adam had been struggling with feelings of inadequacy. As he moved through life, he often felt like just another face in the crowd, easily overlooked. But here, in this city filled with strangers, he had felt seen. The lights of the cafe he was headed toward twinkled in the night. A few minutes later, he found himself standing in front of the Hotel Waltz, its grand facade glowing under the moonlight. The bellhop's directions had been spot on. Inside, the lobby was stunning. Rich mahogany furniture, sparkling chandeliers, and people laughing, all blended to form a cozy yet sophisticated atmosphere. Adam checked in at the front desk, exchanging pleasantries with the staff. But in the back of his mind, he kept thinking about how something as simple as being called sir had made him feel so good. After dropping off his bags in his room, he decided to explore. His feet carried him back to the heart of the festivities, where the music seemed to call to him. He floated through the crowd, watching couples twirling and groups of friends sharing laughs. His heart beat in time with the rhythm of the jazz, and he found himself smiling at the joy surrounding him. But still, something nibbled at the back of his mind, a question he couldn't quite grasp. Why had that one word stuck with him so much? Why did it matter? Later that evening, he stepped into a small bar tucked away in a quieter street, hoping for a moment of peace. The place smelled of whiskey and old wood. He ordered a drink and settled into a corner, letting the sounds of the musicians drown out the rest of the world. As he sipped his bourbon, he watched as people strolled in and out. A young couple celebrated their engagement with uncontainable laughter. At another table, an older man shared stories with his grandchildren, their eyes wide with amazement. Feeling inspired, Adam pulled out his phone, opened a note app, and began typing away. Words poured out of him, the experiences of the day coming together like pieces of a puzzle. It dawned on him that he had forgotten what it felt like to be seen, to be recognized. In the world outside of his office, he had the chance to redefine himself. Suddenly, a figure approached his table, the bellhop. The same young man had just stepped into the bar, looking a bit relaxed now without his uniform. Adam looked up, surprised and pleased to see him again. "Hey there," the bellhop exclaimed, settling himself on the stool beside Adam. "Yeah, I did." The bellhop didn't seem to want pleasantries this time. Instead, he leaned in, his gaze curious. "What brings you to New Orleans?" Adam chuckled. "You've got me. I'm here for a break." "Good choice. New Orleans is great for that." "I work in corporate marketing, a lot of meetings, deadlines, and—" Adam scratched his head, feeling oddly comfortable sharing. "I get it." The bellhop's expression grew serious for a moment. Surprised by the candor, Adam nodded. "It's true. I've been thinking about that a lot lately, like I feel like I've lost something." "That's normal," the bellhop said, his voice steady. "Life has a way of making us forget what matters." Adam hesitated, memories of late nights at the office flashing through his mind. Then it's time to change that," the bellhop replied, raising his glass. Adam clinked his glass against the bellhop's, feeling a surge of hope. He could sense it in the air, excitement, possibility. It was as if the city was waking something inside him, pushing aside the shadows of doubt. As the evening unfolded, Adam and the bellhop shared laughter and stories. The young man spoke passionately about everything, his family, his dreams of becoming a musician, and the beauty of the city he called home. They found common ground in their shared desire for something deeper in life. At one point, Adam recalled how, as a child, he would dream of being someone important, someone who mattered. "Then don't lose it," the bellhop said softly. "You're standing right there, facing the music." The bellhop's words hit Adam hard. In the short span of their conversation, Adam realized he had been holding onto the safe but mundane. The weight that had been on his shoulders felt lighter. Tonight was a chance to reshape who he was, a chance to redefine his future. They exchanged numbers before going their separate ways, the bellhop giving Adam a nod of encouragement as he left. As Adam ambled back to the hotel, the night felt alive with potential. Days turned into a week, and Adam immersed himself in the beauty of New Orleans. He listened to the music, danced with strangers, and let spontaneity guide him. Every interaction left him feeling more alive, more aware of the world around him. The bellhop's words echoed in his mind, propelling him forward. His last night in the city arrived, bright lights twinkling against the dark skyline. Exhausted yet exhilarated, he found himself standing on a balcony outside his hotel room, overlooking the vibrant streets. The joy, the laughter, and the heartfelt connections he'd made resonated within him. And then he remembered the bellhop. Seeking to offer gratitude, he shot him a quick text. They met at a local cafe, exchanging stories of the week. Adam shared how he had ventured outside his comfort zone and began exploring a life more vibrant, filled with laughter and light. The bellhop smiled as he listened, and in that moment Adam realized this was more than just a vacation. It was the beginning of something new. As they said their goodbyes, Adam felt the change within him. The bellhop had shifted something in Adam's heart. It was about reclaiming a part of himself he had lost. It was about connection, authenticity, and the reality that he mattered, if only to someone for a moment. As he walked back to the hotel for the last time, the world felt different. It was brimming with possibility. Adam realized that every path has a destination, but every journey is an opportunity to rediscover oneself. And sometimes all it takes is a smile and a simple word like "sir" to spark that transformation. The rain poured down in sheets, drenching the bustling streets of New Orleans, painting them into a slippery canvas of reflections. Adam stood beneath the awning of a small cafe, his heart racing with both excitement and uncertainty. He had just stepped off a plane, leaving behind the chaos of his life, the stress of deadlines, the monotony of meetings, the weight of expectations on his shoulders. This trip was meant to be his escape, a chance to rediscover himself. But as the thunder rumbled overhead, a sudden pang of anxiety began to creep in. The hotel where he was supposed to stay loomed somewhere among the narrow, winding streets of the French Quarter, but they all looked the same to him. Adam checked the address on his phone for the 5th time, his brow furrowed. Was he even headed in the right direction? The rain masked every sound, every bit of joyful chatter from passersby, every note of jazz drifting through the air. Just as he considered turning back, a figure caught his eye, a bellhop standing across the street. The young man, clad in a striking red blazer, seemed entirely unfazed by the downpour. His cheerful smile cut through the grayness of the day like a beacon. It was as if he was the only person enjoying the storm. Taking a deep breath, Adam stepped out from his shelter. Water splashed around his ankles as he made his way toward the bellhop. He called, his voice barely audible over the rain. "Can you help me?" The bellhop raised his eyebrows and grinned, his bright eyes sparkling despite the dreary weather. "Absolutely, sir." There was an energy in his voice that was contagious. Adam felt a sudden rush of relief. The bellhop began striding confidently down the sidewalk, and Adam hurried to keep pace behind him, trying to shake off the remnants of uncertainty. "You're in for a treat," the bellhop shouted over his shoulder, his enthusiasm a sharp contrast to the gloomy sky. The food, the music, the people. Adam started to listen, soaking in every word. It was refreshing to hear someone speak about a place with such passion. "I've heard great things," Adam replied, eager to learn more. The bellhop asked, turning slightly to give Adam a friendly look, splashes of rain speckling his cheek. "Nice to meet you, Adam. I'm Reggie. You know, everyone who comes here has some sort of story," Reggie said, nodding as if he had witnessed this many times before. Adam hesitated before answering. He had become so accustomed to the mundane conversations of the corporate world that revealing himself felt like standing on a stage without a script. "I'm just here to escape my life for a bit," he admitted, the truth slipping out before he could catch it. Reggie glanced back, his expression shifting to one of understanding. A light chill ran through Adam. It felt strange, talking to a stranger about his fears. "Yeah, I guess you could say that," he replied, his voice softer now. "Just." They turned a corner and a warm glow began to seep through the clouds as they approached the hotel. Reggie pointed ahead, his solid build casting a shadow over the bright facade. "That's it, Hotel Waltz." Adam felt his heart race as the ornate doors of the hotel swung open, revealing a bustling lobby filled with laughter and music. In that moment, it felt more than just a polite term. It planted a seed of validation deep within him, a whispered reminder that he mattered, even if just for a moment. "Thanks for your help, Reggie, I really appreciate it," Adam said, surprised at how sincere he felt. "Anytime, sir." Reggie flashed that infectious grin again, and Adam felt compelled to match it. As Adam settled into his room and prepared for the night ahead, the storm began to fade, leaving a colorful reflection of puddles on the cobblestones. His heart lightened as he contemplated what he would do. The thrill of adventure started to bubble within him, resembling the music echoing from the streets below. In the following days, Adam wandered the vibrant neighborhoods of New Orleans. Each step felt like rediscovery as he lost himself in late-night jazz clubs, charming cafes, and gourmet restaurants. He became a part of the city, a lively rhythm infused with spontaneity. But no matter where he found himself, thoughts of Reggie lingered. There was something captivating about him, something that made Adam feel at ease. Maybe it was the way he radiated warmth or his seamless ability to connect with others. Whatever it was, it gnawed at Adam's curiosity. He found himself thinking about their brief conversation. One evening, as he entered a small tavern filled with the soulful sounds of a saxophone, Adam spotted Reggie sitting at the bar, laughing with a group of friends. It was a small moment, but it pulled at him. Gathering his courage, Adam approached. The lively atmosphere grew quieter for just a breath as Reggie looked up, his face splitting into a grin the moment he saw Adam. "Hey there," Reggie called, his tone playful. "Thought I'd join the party," Adam said, leaning against the bar beside him. "Just a little something to celebrate another day," Reggie replied, raising his glass as if to prove his point. They quickly struck up a lively conversation, exchanging stories of their lives, their dreams, and the wild adventures that came with them. Reggie's stories about growing up in New Orleans were filled with vibrant characters and unexpected turns, each tale more colorful than the last. Adam found himself captivated by the energy that Reggie exuded, how he turned every moment into something magical. Their laughter intertwined with the music, building a connection that felt exhilarating and genuine. But beneath Adam's excitement lingered a deeper thought, a sense of purpose that he hadn't felt in years. He was beginning to understand it wasn't just about running away anymore. It was about embracing something true. Some hours later, Reggie turned to him, his laughter softening into sincerity. "You know, Adam, you have this light about you, but it seems like you've dimmed it a bit." Adam blinked, caught off guard. It was as if Reggie had seen through him, piercing the veil of pretense he wore like armor. "I suppose I'm struggling to find my passion again," he finally said, his voice wavering slightly. "Don't lose sight of it," Reggie said firmly. "Find the things that make you feel alive." His words resonated louder than any jazz tune, awakening something deep within Adam. This was a spark, a call to action. This trip had been more than just an escape. It was a chance to reclaim his spirit. The next day, Adam took Reggie's advice to heart. He woke up early and ventured out to explore the hidden gems of the city. He climbed the steps of local galleries, visited small shops brimming with unique crafts, and joined spontaneous dance parties in the streets. Every interaction felt profound, each moment adding color to his journey. He had found a sense of belonging in a place he had never been. As the week wore on, Adam's transformation sparked something within him, a warmth that overtook the coldness of doubt. One evening, sitting in a bustling square filled with joyful celebrations, Adam felt lighter than ever. He couldn't help but compare it to the days back home where he felt like a ghost overlooked and unheard. His phone buzzed beside him. It was a text from Reggie. "Hey," his heart skipped a beat. Adam replied instantly. Absolutely, they met at a tucked-away speakeasy, known for its local music scene. The atmosphere was filled with the sounds of vibrant laughter and soulful songs. As they chatted, Adam felt a growing connection, a bond weaving itself together through shared laughter and kind words. And then came the moment that sent a rush of excitement coursing through him. Reggie asked, extending his hand with a cheeky smile. Adam's lips curled up instinctively. As they danced, the world dulled around them. It was just the two of them swirling through the music, each step turning into something more than mere movement. They shared stories as they moved, laughter echoing in the corners of the room. In the warmth of that moment, Adam felt a familiar ache, one he realized he hadn't felt in a long time, joy. But as the evening wore on, Adam's mind drifted back to the realities waiting for him back: homework, responsibilities, the life he had danced away from. The questions about his future pressed heavily on his heart. Adam asked, his voice tinged with uncertainty. Reggie paused, holding Adam's gaze. "I don't know if I can," Adam replied, a tremor in his voice. "Then redefine it," Reggie encouraged. "You have a choice: keep the spirit alive or let it slip away." The weight of his words hung in the air, paralyzing and liberating all at once. Adam had a choice indeed. It was scary to consider, but sitting there with Reggie, confronted with the truth, he felt the spark of courage start to ignite within him. It represented respect, acknowledgement, and the call to embrace who he was. Adam turned to Reggie, feeling emboldened. "I want to take this feeling with me." Reggie's smile widened, illuminating the night. "You're on your way to something incredible." As dawn approached, the city transformed into a canvas of colors, each hue telling a different story. Adam stood at the edge of the Mississippi River, breathing in the salty air. The trip had not only been an escape, but a profound awakening. As he prepared to leave the city behind, he felt a mix of excitement and sorrow. He had come to New Orleans seeking solace, and in a way, he had found it. As he met Reggie one last time for coffee, the bellhop raised his cup in toast. In that moment, Adam not only felt the warmth of the city within him, but also a newfound determination. The story he would take back wasn't about running away. It would be about embracing change, finding joy, and living authentically. In every word spoken that week, every smile exchanged, Adam realized he had rediscovered his passion. It wasn't about the sir that Reggie had called him. It was about believing in himself again, a chance to write his own story, one that continued far beyond the vibrant streets of New Orleans. And while the call of the city would linger in his heart, he was ready to face whatever came next. With gratitude and newfound clarity, Adam knew he would carry this chapter with him always. A chapter filled with vibrant experiences, a new friendship, and the simple yet powerful reminder that life is meant to be lived fiercely, unapologetically, and with joy. The sun was setting over the city, casting a golden hue on the bustling streets of New Orleans. Adam stood at the corner of Chartres and Toulouse, his heart racing with a mix of excitement and anxiety. He was new to this place, having only arrived a few hours ago, but it felt alive, vibrant. The sounds of jazz floated through the air, mixing with the scent of beignets and roasted coffee. Yet, despite the allure, he felt lost. He consulted his phone for directions one more time, squinting at the screen as if willing it to provide clarity. The hotel was supposed to be just a few blocks away, but the winding paths and playful architecture had muddled his sense of direction. Just then, he spotted a bellhop standing at the entrance of a lavish hotel, his bright uniform gleaming even in the fading light. Gathering his resolve, Adam approached. "Excuse me, I'm looking for the Hotel Waltz." The bellhop turned, his face lighting up with a broad smile. "Of course, sir." The word "sir" rang in Adam's ears like a gentle bell. In that moment, something stirred within him, igniting a flicker of pride he hadn't felt in quite some time. "Thank you," Adam replied, feeling lighter already. As he turned to walk away, he couldn't help but glance back at the bellhop. He stood there, a beam of warmth in the cool evening, the embodiment of New Orleans spirit. That simple exchange seemed to unveil something within Adam, perhaps just a hint of recognition, as if acknowledging the worth he had almost forgotten. As he walked, Adam reflected on the past few months of his life. Work had been relentless. He had poured himself into endless meetings, marketing strategies, and deadlines. The daily grind felt like a relentless current, dragging him under the surface until he could barely catch his breath. Maybe that was why New Orleans had called to him. It was an escape, a chance to find freedom in the chaos. The hotel was charming, its old-world elegance encapsulating the beauty of the city. Adam checked in, flashed a smile at the receptionist, and headed to his room. The moment he stepped inside, it felt like stepping back in time. Antique furniture, heavy drapes, and the scent of aged wood. He took a deep breath, envisioning the days ahead filled with adventure and possibility. Feeling the need to shake off the remnants of his travel fatigue, Adam decided to explore. He wandered through the streets, each corner revealing something new, a musician strumming sweet notes on the sidewalk, a couple dancing to those very notes, and the echo of laughter harmonizing with the city's heartbeat. Hours slipped by, and soon Adam found himself in front of a lively tavern. The door swung open as he stepped inside. A lively crowd pulsed with energy. Music poured from the stage, washing over him like a warm hug. He scanned the room, searching for a place to sit, when suddenly their eyes met. It was Reggie, the same bellhop from earlier. He was off duty now, laughing and chatting with friends, his infectious smile brightening even the dimly lit room. A surge of courage propelled Adam forward. "Hey," Adam exclaimed, feeling an odd sense of familiarity. Reggie replied, his eyes sparkling. "I did, thanks to you," Adam said, matching Reggie's grin. Reggie offered, waving him over. "We were just talking about the best spots in the city." Adam hesitated for a moment. This was new territory for him. He wasn't usually one to blend into a group without an invitation. But something about Reggie's welcoming demeanor broke down his reservations. He walked over, and as he joined the circle, he felt the warmth of connection envelop him. Their conversation flowed like the music around them. Reggie was animated, blending humor with stories about the city, sharing hidden gems known only to locals. Adam soaked it all in, fascinated. He had come to New Orleans looking for himself, yet here he was, learning about a place so rich with culture. Reggie said, leaning closer, "The one that smells of fresh pastries and coffee, best beignets in town." Adam nodded eagerly, making mental notes. The way Reggie spoke about New Orleans, it was as if the city came alive in his words. Each tale layered with affection, each recommendation a roadmap to joy. As the night wore on, laughter and energetic banter filled the air. Adam found himself laughing harder than he had in years, each joke pulling him further away from the stress he had left behind. And just when Adam thought the night couldn't get better, Reggie leaned in with a twinkle in his eye. Adam's heart raced at the offer. Dancing wasn't exactly his forte, but he was tired of holding himself back. He replied, a grin spreading across his face. They moved to the small dance floor, and as the music swelled, Adam felt a wash of exhilaration. The rhythm pulled him in and he forgot about everything, the weight of the corporate world, the pressures of life. With every step, every sway, he felt lighter, freer. Reggie was an excellent dancer, guiding Adam effortlessly with each beat. The way he smiled at Adam made him feel energized, alive. They twirled and spun through the laughter, surrounded by the joyous chaos of the bar. For the first time in years, Adam felt like he was part of something bigger, something beautiful. As the night began to fade, they returned to the bar, still buzzing from the dance. "You're pretty good out there," Reggie teased, playfully nudging him. "Thanks." Adam's gaze dropped for just a moment, but he quickly met Reggie's eyes again. "It's easy when you're a part of a place that feels like home," Reggie replied, tilting his head slightly. The question hung in the air, heavier than any note he had danced to. For a moment, Adam felt exposed, the truth lying just beneath the surface. "Honestly, I think I'm just looking for a reason to believe in myself again," he finally admitted, his voice softer. Reggie leaned in closer, the sincerity in his gaze tangible. "You've taken a big step just by being here. Life can weigh on you, but it's how you choose to rise above it that counts." Adam nodded, processing Reggie's words. In that moment, he realized something profound. It was never just about the break from work or the thrill of adventure. It was about learning to embrace who he was, unfiltered, unapologetic. As the night wore on, Adam felt a transformative warmth envelop him. He would leave New Orleans eventually, but he wouldn't leave empty-handed. The next day, under the soft glow of the morning sun, Adam set out with newfound energy. He wandered into art galleries, talked to street performers, and tasted dishes that ignited his senses. Each experience felt like a gift. Each moment took him further away from the routine he had left behind. But as dusk began to settle, Adam's heart felt heavy. He was leaving in the morning, and while he cherished every moment he had spent in the city, he feared returning to the life that had made him feel invisible. That evening, Adam found himself back at the tavern looking for Reggie. When he arrived, he spotted him sharing laughs with friends. The warmth spread through him as Reggie caught sight of him and waved him over. "Hey," Reggie asked, his eyes lighting up. I visited that art gallery you mentioned." Adam replied, feeling a bit proud. "See." They laughed together, and suddenly the weight of Adam's impending departure felt slightly lighter. But there was something he needed to say, a thought lingering at the edge of his mind. As the evening wore on, he finally gathered his courage and leaned closer to Reggie. "I wanted to thank you for everything. Just doing what I can," Reggie replied casually, but Adam could see the sincerity beneath those words. "No, really, it's more than that," Adam insisted, his voice firm. "You made me feel seen again." Reggie paused, holding Adam's gaze. "You do matter." Adam felt a knot of emotion building within him, tugging at his heart. It was raw, powerful, and spoke to a truth he had long ignored. "I hope I can take this feeling back with me," he said quietly. "You can," Reggie affirmed. "You have the power to carry this transformation into your life." As they sat there, the music surrounding them, Adam realized the impact of that simple word from earlier. It wasn't just a term. It was a reminder of self-worth, respect, and the journey to reclaim his identity. That night, as Adam prepared for bed, he replayed the moments, the laughter, the dancing, the friendships forged in fleeting time. Tomorrow, he would say goodbye to New Orleans, but the city wouldn't fade away. It would remain a part of him, igniting something new inside. As he lay in bed, he found stillness in his heart, embracing the realization that he could return to his life and rewrite his story. No longer would he shy away from adventure or leave his spirit behind. The fear that once chained him began to dissolve, replaced by a sense of hope and possibility. Morning light streamed through the hotel window as Adam packed his bags, ready to say goodbye. He made his way to the lobby one last time, carrying a heart full of gratitude. As he approached the front desk, the same receptionist greeted him cheerfully. She asked, "More than I could have imagined," Adam replied, and just then Reggie appeared, his presence igniting a spark. He said, grinning, "Yeah, but a piece of me will always be here," Adam responded, filled with warmth. They exchanged a meaningful glance, and at that moment, Adam knew he had to hold on to this newfound sense of identity as he continued his journey. "Take care of yourself, Adam. You've got this," Reggie said, his voice steady and full of belief. "Thank you, Reggie, for everything," Adam said, his heart swelling with appreciation. As he walked out into the world, the sun shining brightly above him, Adam realized he was stepping into a new chapter, a chapter built on courage, connection, and the power of self-belief. With each step, he carried with him the echoes of laughter, the rhythm of jazz, and the spirit of a city that had awakened something profound within him. That moment, a simple request for directions and a heartfelt exchange, had changed the course of his life. Now more than ever, Adam felt ready to embrace whatever came next with open arms, his heart a little lighter, and a newfound sense of purpose guiding him forward. In the soulful streets of New Orleans, he had learned to dance again, and it was just the beginning. The rain fell in heavy sheets, drowning the narrow streets of New Orleans as if the heavens themselves were crying. Adam stood huddled under the awning of a small cafe, his breath fogging up the glass. He felt all at once exhilarated and overwhelmed by the life pulsing around him. Excitement bubbled beneath his skin, yet he couldn't shake the feeling of being utterly lost. He had flown in hours earlier, leaving behind the rigid structure of his corporate life. Now here he was, a stranger in a city famed for its infectious energy and rich history, but ironically he didn't quite know where he was going. He stared down at his phone, squinting at the screen, which was smeared with raindrops and the remnants of a busy day. The Hotel Waltz was supposedly just a block away, but the maze of streets and jazz-filled corners danced before him like the tempting notes of a melody he couldn't quite catch. He felt a sudden pang of frustration. Just then, a flash of red caught his eye. A bellhop in a well-pressed uniform stood on the corner, watching the rain dance without a care in the world. The young man looked both polished and approachable, a beacon amid the storm. Adam took a deep breath, summoned every ounce of courage, and stepped into the rain, letting the water splash over his shoes as he approached the bellhop. He called out, his voice barely rising above the sound of raindrops hitting the pavement. "Can you help me?" The bellhop turned to him, his smile slicing through the grayness like sunlight piercing cloud cover. He replied, his voice warm and inviting. The word "sir" hung in the air, electrifying. Adam felt a jolt of unexpected pride, as if he were being seen for the first time in ages. "Just one block that way and then take a left," the bellhop said, gesturing with his hand confidently. Adam shot back, feeling lighter as he turned to follow the directions. That simple exchange, a question and an answer, a nod of acknowledgement, ignited a flicker of something he hadn't felt in a long while: validation. As he walked away, he found himself smiling at the thought. The warm glow of the hotel lobby greeted him as he entered, contrasting sharply with the storm outside. The scent of aged wood and freshly polished floors enveloped him, welcoming him into its embrace. After checking in and dropping his bags in his room, Adam felt a surge of possibility. This was it. He could redefine himself here, away from the deadlines and meetings. With the rain tapering off, he ventured out into the embrace of the city, letting the sights and sounds envelop him. He wandered down cobblestone streets, mesmerized by the charming storefronts and the vibrancy of the jazz music wafting through the air. People danced, laughed, and explored, embodying a spirit that felt liberating. Hours flew by, each moment infused with life, but somewhere deep down, a twinge of loneliness began to surface. The connections he craved eluded him. The laughter of strangers felt distant, echoing like waves crashing against a distant shore. Feeling the weight of his solitude, he ducked into a small tavern, lured in by the sound of a saxophone wailing in the corner. The atmosphere was electric. A mix of locals and tourists filled the room, each person wrapped up in their own world. As Adam sat at the bar nursing a drink, he glanced around, hoping to catch an eye, to feel a spark of connection. Then he spotted him, a familiar face. It was the bellhop from earlier, Reggie. Reggie's infectious laugh carried over the crowd, and in that moment Adam felt an inexplicable urge to approach him. Gathering his courage, Adam walked over. "Hey," Reggie looked up, his smile wide and genuine. "Adam, I think I am," Adam replied, his heart fluttering with the warmth of their unexpected connection. "Oh, just unwinding after a long day at the hotel. You know how it is, always moving around, helping guests." "This is my sanctuary," Reggie said, gesturing to the lively room filled with music and laughter. "Looks like a great spot." The thought of sitting alone at the bar felt daunting now. "Not at all," Reggie replied and motioned for Adam to take a seat. As they talked, Adam felt a warmth spreading through him, a sense of belonging. Reggie was engaging, full of life, sharing stories of local legends and hidden gems throughout the city. He spoke with a passion that made Adam lean in closer, hanging on every word. Reggie said, his eyes sparkling. "I can see what you mean," Adam admitted, his voice quieter now. For the first time in ages, he felt a spark within himself igniting. "You and a million others," Reggie laughed lightly, "but it's what you do with that escape that matters." The evening turned into night, with laughter echoing through the air and music filling the spaces between words. Adam found himself sharing more than he usually would with a stranger. He spoke of the pressures of his job, the heaviness that came from living by someone else's schedule. With each story he shared, he felt the chains of expectation loosening. "Sometimes," Reggie said, his tone growing serious, "it takes a moment of clarity to realize what you truly want." The night wore on, and Adam's heart raced in tandem with the music. Somewhere in the chaos of laughter, he recognized himself again, not as the man weighed down by others' expectations, but as someone ready to seize his moment. As the clock ticked toward midnight, the atmosphere shifted. It was as if the world outside faded, leaving only the music, the laughter, and the energy that pulsed around them. In that moment, Adam realized that this trip had become more than just escapism. It was a journey toward rediscovery. Reggie yelled over the music, pulling Adam from his thoughts. "Dance," the word shot through Adam like electricity. He swallowed hard, hesitating. "Just let go," Reggie encouraged, his eyes gleaming with mischief. With a rush of courage, Adam nodded. He followed Reggie to the small dance floor packed with swaying bodies. The music swelled, filling the space and drowning out every doubt. In that moment, Adam lost himself to the rhythm. Each step was a release, a letting go of the weight he had carried for too long. With Reggie by his side, he spun, laughed, and danced as if the world had faded away. Every beat resonated in his chest, stirring something profound and powerful deep within. Standing side by side, they danced until sweat glistened on their brows. The joyous spirit enveloped them, binding them in that euphoric moment. For the first time in years, Adam felt truly liberated, forgetting the pressures, the worry, and the weight of the past. Eventually, they returned to their seats, catching their breath as they laughed at the absurdity of it all. Reggie teased, elbowing Adam playfully. Adam grinned, his cheeks flushed with joy. "I didn't know I had it in me." "Sometimes you just need a little nudge," Reggie replied. As the night wore on, Adam couldn't shake the sense of connection he felt. With each shared laugh and story, the world outside seemed to recede away. But somewhere deep inside, the clock was ticking. He would need to return to his life soon, back to the pressures he had escaped. Adam asked, his voice turning serious. Reggie leaned in, meeting Adam's gaze. "Take the joy, the spirit, and the desire to embrace life." "Easier said than done," Adam replied, a hint of doubt lingering in his voice. "Maybe, but we all have choices, my friend." "You just need to decide what matters to you," Reggie said, his tone steady. In that moment, Adam understood. It was never just about a getaway. It was about rediscovering who he truly was beneath the layers of obligation and expectation. The next day dawned bright and clear, a stark contrast to the storm from the night before. As he prepared to leave New Orleans, a bittersweet feeling settled in his chest. He had immersed himself in the experience, yet the thought of returning to his uneventful life was heavy. His final stroll through the streets felt more like a farewell than a simple moment in time. With each footstep he took in the sights, the vibrant colors of the buildings, the sound of street musicians playing hauntingly beautiful melodies, and the intoxicating scent of Creole food permeating the air. Back at the hotel, he checked out, his heart heavy but hopeful. As he walked toward the door, a familiar voice rang out. He turned to see Reggie rushing toward him, a big smile plastered on his face. "I'm glad you did," Adam said, his heart lifting. "Just wanted to say goodbye and remind you to carry this with you," Reggie said, gesturing enthusiastically. "Don't forget, you can always find your way back to yourself." Adam chuckled, warmth flooding through him. As they stood there, Adam couldn't help but feel he was leaving a piece of himself behind, but he also knew he was taking something just as valuable with him, a new perspective and the promise of joy. With a final wave, he stepped out into the sunny street, ready to embrace whatever awaited him back home. The world felt different, vibrant, alive, with possibility just waiting for him to rediscover his rhythm. As he walked away, Adam smiled, recalling the bellhop's bright eyes and warm smile. That moment of being called Sir had transformed into a powerful reminder of self-value, connection, and authenticity. In the bustling streets of New Orleans, he had found himself again, and no matter where life led him, that spark would remain, guiding him toward the dance of life full of laughter, joy, and endless adventure. The rain trickled down in soft sheets, creating a symphony of splashes on the cobblestone streets of New Orleans. Adam stood just under the awning of a quaint cafe, peering into the maelstrom of activity around him. The air was thick with the smell of gumbo and the sound of distant jazz, and he felt a mix of exhilaration and anxiety. This was supposed to be a getaway and escape from the grind of his daily life, but there he was, lost and bewildered, squinting at his phone in the wet light. Frustration began to bubble within him. He had landed excitedly just a few hours ago, but now the maze-like streets and the city's playful architecture felt like a labyrinth he couldn't navigate. He had tried to read the directions 3 times, but they swirled in his mind like the clouds overhead. With a deep breath, Adam pulled himself together. He needed help. Just across the street, a bellhop stood by the entrance of a nearby hotel, looking effortlessly composed despite the rain. His bright red blazer seemed to shine against the muted backdrop, and he wore a broad grin, one that made it seem like he had all the time in the world. Gathering his courage, Adam stepped into the rain, splashing through puddles as he approached the bellhop. Adam called out, his voice struggling to rise above the sound of raindrops. "Can you help me?" The bellhop turned, and his smile broadened as he took Adam in. "Of course, sir, you're almost there. Just 1 block that way and take a left," he said, gesturing confidently toward the street. His voice was infused with warmth, and when he called Adam sir, it sent a small thrill of validation through him. Adam replied, feeling the tension ease a little. He turned, ready to follow the directions, but couldn't help glancing back. The bellhop still stood there, smiling, as if encouraging him to embrace the adventure that lay ahead. With every step he took, Adam felt lighter, as if the rain was washing away weeks of burnout and exhaustion. The streets began to reveal their character, filled with the rich sounds of jazz spilling from open doors. People moved with a sense of purpose, laughter mingling with music. For a moment he felt like he belonged, like he could lose himself in the rhythm of the city. The hotel waltz was charming, draped in history with its ornate fixtures and lush decor. After checking in, Adam took a moment to breathe deeply, savoring the mixture of excitement and anxiety that flooded through him. He had come here with the intention of rediscovering parts of himself lost in the shuffle of working life, but could he actually do it? After dropping his bags in his room, he decided to explore, wanting to embrace whatever the evening might bring. He wandered through the streets, feeling the warmth of the city wrapping around him like a protective hug. As he moved from block to block, the blues music filled every crevice, calling out to him. He stumbled into a small bar, the kind that thrived on character rather than polish. A sign outside read, "Live Jazz Tonight," and the faint sound of a saxophone drew him in like a moth to a flame. Inside, the atmosphere was electric. The dim lights flickered and the crowd pulsated with energy. Adam chose a spot at the bar, looking around with newfound curiosity. As he settled in, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was different here. Perhaps it was the art on the walls, depicting the city's vibrant history, or maybe it was the way people engaged with one another, animated conversations shared over clinking glasses. But as the hours passed, a prick of loneliness shadowed him. Awareness washed over him that even in such a lively environment he felt removed, almost as if he were part of a play but forgotten behind the curtain. He glanced around, searching for a connection. Just then his eyes caught sight of a familiar figure. It was the bellhop Reggie, now off duty, mingling with friends near the stage. A surge of warmth raced through him at the sight. Taking a deep breath, Adam decided to approach. "Hey," he exclaimed, feeling a rush of adrenaline. Reggie looked up, his face instantly transforming with recognition. "Adam," he stepped closer, the bright energy radiating from him. Adam replied, "Anytime, this place is what I call home. You'll find good vibes if you let yourself get lost in it," Reggie said, his eyes glimmering. Before Adam could think too much about it, he nodded, feeling the warmth that Reggie offered. As they melted into the group, Adam found himself swept up in a whirlwind of laughter and stories. The conversations flowed easily, and suddenly he was sharing pieces of himself, insecurities slipping away for the night. Reggie, with his easy charm, seemed to draw out stories Adam had tucked away for far too long. "New Orleans has a way of making people feel alive," Reggie said, glancing at Adam with an intensity that made him reconsider. "I guess I needed that," Adam confessed, not fully aware of how open he was being. "Work has been draining," Reggie encouraged, raising a glass. Adam raised his glass, feeling the sense of camaraderie wash over him. In that moment, he realized how refreshing it felt to be seen and understood, something he had sorely missed in recent months. As the night wore on, they continued to laugh and dance, the rhythm pulling them into a kind of freedom that felt almost intoxicating. Between drinks, Adam and Reggie exchanged stories that spanned childhood dreams, fears of adulthood, and hopes for the future. Each confession built a bridge of connection that made Adam feel more grounded. At one point, Reggie leaned in, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "Dance, I'm not exactly a pro," Adam chuckled nervously. "Doesn't matter, just follow me," Reggie insisted, his eyes sparkling with mischief. Feeling reckless in the face of newfound freedom, Adam nodded, and before he knew it, they were moving to the small dance floor, caught up in a whirlwind of energy. As the band played a jazzy tune, Adam let loose, moving his body with the rhythm. With every step, he liberated a piece of himself he had kept hidden away for too long. The weight of his corporate life dissipated, replaced by a euphoric sense of belonging, joy, and raw emotion. After what felt like an eternity, they returned to their seats, both breathing heavily, laughter spilling from their lips. "See," Reggie said, wiping the sweat from his forehead. "I didn't know I had that in me," Adam replied, feeling lighter than air. As they settled back, Adam took a moment to appreciate how far he had come that night. They chatted about everything under the stars, and Adam felt himself illuminated by Reggie's energy, encouraged by the bond they were forming. Reggie said thoughtfully, "I can see you're searching for something different. I want to take this feeling back with me," Adam whispered, a hint of vulnerability breaking through. "Then you will think about the life you want when you go back," Reggie replied, his gaze unwavering. As dawn approached, the mood shifted gradually. The vibrant sounds of music began to fade, a gentle reminder that reality was waiting just outside the door. Adam's heart sank slightly at the thought of returning to his old life, where the rhythm felt monotone, a life he had been on the verge of leaving behind. "I wish this would last," he admitted, his tone somber. "You can't stop the music now, you just have to keep dancing," Reggie said, a gleam in his eye. "Remember what you felt tonight." As they shared a final toast, Adam felt a swell of hope. Maybe he could do this, whatever this was. The bond was both exhilarating and terrifying, evoking emotions he hadn't allowed himself to embrace in years. The next morning, the sun shone brightly as Adam prepared to leave. But as he packed, the sense of dread loomed. He was being pulled back into a reality strewn with deadlines and monotony. The thought of saying goodbye filled him with both sadness and resolve. He stepped out of the hotel, soaking in the sights one last time. The colors, the sounds, all pieces of a beautiful puzzle that felt woven into his very being. As he walked down the street, the familiar buzz of New Orleans had woven itself into his heart, the vibrant music, the enchanting architecture, and the essence of life that danced around him. Then he caught sight of Reggie leaning against a lamppost, a knowing smile gracing his lips. Adam chuckled, remembering the day it all began. "You better. You found something special here," Reggie replied, sincerity etched on his face. I won't. Thank you, Reggie, for everything, Adam said, his heart swelling with appreciation. It wasn't merely a term, it had become a reminder of self-worth, connection, and the courage to rediscover oneself. As Adam walked away, heart full, he knew he was stepping into a new chapter. He felt ready to carry the spirit of New Orleans with its jazz, laughter, and warmth back into his life. The beauty of that city and the connection formed would forever be etched in his memory, a song in his heart, urging him to keep dancing, keep searching, and above all, keep living. Each step he took felt lighter, filled with renewed purpose and an eagerness to embrace the life waiting for him. And just like that, the journey of rediscovery carried on, all sparked by a simple request for directions and the unexpected warmth of a kind bellhop. The rain poured down relentlessly, soaking the streets of New Orleans in a shimmering glaze. Adam stood under the awning of a small cafe, water dripping from his hair, feeling the weight of his suitcase pressing against his side. The air was thick with the scent of sweet beignets and rich coffee, yet he felt lost in the vibrant chaos around him. Laughter and live jazz echoed in the distance, but here he was, a stranger in a beautiful city, struggling to make sense of it all. He checked his phone, squinting at the screen through the droplets. The Hotel Waltz was supposed to be just a block away, but every street looked the same in the rain, and his sense of direction was failing him. Frustration bubbled within him, mixing with that nagging feeling in the pit of his stomach, the one that told him he had lost his way, not just physically, but also in life. Just then, out of the corner of his eye, he spotted a bellhop standing at the entrance of a grand hotel across the street. His red blazer seemed to glow against the dreary backdrop, and his demeanor was warm and inviting. With a mix of determination and hope, Adam stepped into the rain, braving the downpour to seek help. He called out, taking a breath to steady his voice. "Could you help me?" The bellhop turned, his smile illuminating the rainy chaos. "Of course, sir, you're almost there. Just one block down and take a left," he said, gesturing confidently as if guiding Adam not just with his hand but with a sense of destiny. Adam replied, feeling the cloud of anxiety lift a little. The way the bellhop called him sir struck a chord deep within him. It was a word he hadn't heard in a long time, and it felt almost foreign, yet oddly comforting. That small touch of respect seemed to set off a flicker of recognition within him, reminding him he was more than just a face in a crowd. As he turned to follow the directions, he couldn't help but glance back at the bellhop. The young man waved cheerfully, as if he could sense Adam's uncertainty and was encouraging him to embrace the journey ahead. With every step, Adam felt lighter, as if the rain was washing away the burdens he had been carrying for too long. Entering the hotel felt like stepping into another world. The lush decor, the opulent chandeliers, and the whispers of laughter wrapped around him like a warm embrace. After checking in, he dropped his bags in his room and felt a surge of excitement coursing through him. This was it. He had come to rediscover himself, to break away from the monotonous routine of corporate life. After a quick change of clothes, Adam ventured out once more into the night, buoyed by a mix of adrenaline and curiosity. The rain had slowed to a gentle mist, and the streets glistened under the soft glow of streetlights. He wandered aimlessly, allowing the city to guide him, each turn revealing something new and vibrant. A few blocks away, the sound of jazz began to thrum through the air, beckoning him closer. Following the melody, he found himself standing before a small bar that boasted live music. The sign outside flickered like a beacon, and without thinking, he pushed the door open. Inside, the atmosphere buzzed with energy. The air was thick with the smell of whiskey and the sharp tang of spice. Patrons laughed and chatted, their faces lit by the golden glow of dim lights. As Adam took a seat at the bar, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was on the cusp of something transformative. The band played soulful melodies as he settled in, watching the interactions around him. A couple danced in the corner, lost in their own world, their laughter rising above the music. Adam's heart ached with the longing for connection he hadn't felt in ages. He stared down at his drink, wondering if he could ever find that kind of joy again. As he sipped his whiskey, the moment felt endless, and soon a twinge of loneliness began to creep in. Just then, his eyes caught sight of Reggie, the bellhop. He was now mingling with a group of friends, their laughter flowing freely through the bar. Suddenly, a surge of courage coursed through Adam. He could either stay in his corner or reach out. "Hey," he called out, rising from his seat and making his way over. Reggie looked up, his face lighting up when he saw Adam. "Adam, great to see you again." "Definitely, I was just exploring," Adam replied, feeling a smile break across his face. Reggie waved him over, the warmth of his invite pulling Adam into the group like a magnet. As he sat with them, the conversation flowed easily, a delightful mix of stories and laughter. Reggie had a way of turning even the mundane into something magical, weaving tales about the city's rich history and hidden treasures. Adam leaned in, captivated by his enthusiasm. "There's so much to discover here, you just have to dive in," Reggie said, eyes sparkling with energy. "Have you tried the beignets?" Adam said, surprised by his own eagerness. It was as if Reggie's spirit was contagious, igniting something deep within him that had faded long ago. They spent the night swapping stories, the drinks flowing as easily as the conversation. Adam felt a warmth unfurling in his chest, a thrill he hadn't experienced in years. It was liberating to share pieces of himself without hesitation, to laugh so hard it hurt, to feel alive in a way he had forgotten. At one point, the music softened and Reggie leaned in closer. "What's your story, Adam?" Adam paused, the question pulling at something vulnerable inside him. "It's simple, really. I needed a break. Work has been exhausting, to say the least." "Everyone loses themselves sometimes," Reggie replied gently, his eyes focused and sincere. "But the trick is to find your way back." For the first time, Adam felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps he could rediscover himself, not just in New Orleans, but for the long haul. As the night wore on, Adam realized he wanted to seize this opportunity to truly connect. Dancing wasn't something he usually did, but the music spoke to him, tugging at his heartstrings. Reggie said, pulling him from his thoughts. Before he could think too much about it, Adam found himself swept up and led to the small space where people were dancing freely. He felt nervous yet exhilarated, the music thrumming through him. As he moved alongside Reggie, their laughter intertwined with the rhythm, creating a spellbinding connection that drew Adam deeper into the moment. They swayed and spun, letting the music guide their movements, laughter erupting between them as they danced like no one was watching. Adam felt the weight of the world lift off his shoulders. In that moment, he wasn't the overworked employee, he was simply a man free to be himself, to lose himself in the rhythm. After what felt like hours, they collapsed back onto their seats, breathing heavily, joy spilling out in fits of laughter. Reggie said, grinning widely. "I had no idea I could do that," Adam replied, still buzzing from the exhilaration. The night drifted on, and Adam felt a shifting within him. He was coming alive, rekindling the parts of himself that had been dulled by the pressures of life. But even in his joy, a shadow loomed over him, the reality that he would have to return to the grind soon. Reggie asked, a knowing glint in his eye. "Honestly, I'm not sure I can," Adam admitted, a hint of vulnerability creeping in. "Just remember this feeling," Reggie said, his voice steady. "You've got to capture it and carry it into your daily life." As dawn began to creep into the horizon, signaling the end of the night, Adam felt an overwhelming mix of emotions. He was grateful for the connection he'd forged, but afraid of the reality that awaited him. The thought of slipping back into the mundane felt suffocating. In that moment of uncertainty, Adam realized that reaching out for help was the first step. The bellhop had not just offered directions to the hotel, he had guided Adam toward opening his heart. With the night drawing to a close, they finally pulled themselves away from the friendly crowd. "This was one of the best nights I've had in a long time," Adam said, feeling a tightness in his chest. "I'm glad," Reggie replied, sincerity pouring from him. "Remember, you can always find the joy again." Adam walked back to the hotel, the rhythmic sound of the jazz fading behind him. But as he stepped into the bright morning sunshine the next day, the warmth settled around him. He felt changed, emboldened in ways he hadn't anticipated. The enchanting streets of New Orleans beckoned him one last time as he prepared to leave. With each step, he replayed the moments from the night, the laughter, the dance, the warmth of camaraderie that had enveloped him. While he may have been leaving, he was also taking something invaluable with him. At the hotel, he checked out, the same receptionist smiling at him as if she could sense the shift within. He stepped toward the doors, and who should he see but Reggie again, leaning against the wall. Reggie said, that familiar twinkle in his eye. "I am, but I'm taking a piece of you in this city back with me," Adam replied, echoing the same words that had resonated through their night together. "Good," Reggie beamed, his encouragement lighting a fire within Adam. With a wave, Adam walked out into the buzzing city, his heart brimming with new hope. He had come to New Orleans for escape, but he was leaving with newfound purpose and a clarity that rippled beneath the surface. The vibrant streets, the jazz, and the gentle reminder of self-worth echoed in his mind as he stepped forward, ready to create a life filled with the same joy he had found there. As he made his way to the airport, Adam understood that while the echoes of the night would linger, the adventure of rediscovery had only just begun. No longer just an observer in his life, he was ready to embrace each moment with that same spirit of joy and enthusiasm he found in New Orleans. As he moved through the bustling terminal, he carried with him the belief that he could redefine who he was, one dance step, one laugh, and one moment at a time. Rain fell steadily over the streets of New Orleans, creating a soft symphony of droplets tapping on cobblestones. Adam stood beneath a cafe awning, feeling the weight of his suitcase pulling him down, the smell of hot beignets and strong coffee teasing his senses. He had arrived just hours ago, eager for an escape from his monotonous corporate life, but now he was already lost. With his phone in hand, Adam squinted at the screen, trying to decipher the directions to the hotel walls. The streets twisted into a web of color and noise, and he felt the excitement of the city mixed with an overwhelming sense of confusion. He had dreamed of this moment, yet here he was, paralyzed at a crossroads. Just then, a figure caught his eye, an energetic bellhop in a bright red uniform, standing confidently at the entrance of a luxury hotel across the street. His smile was wide, projecting warmth that felt inviting even from a distance. Adam's heart raced at the thought of seeking help. Gathering his courage, he took a deep breath and stepped into the rain. Adam called out, his voice almost lost in the drumming of the rain. "Can you help me?" The bellhop turned, his bright eyes sparkling as he regarded Adam. "Of course, sir, you're almost there, just a block down and take a left," he said, his voice smooth and reassuring. The way he said "sir" struck Adam unexpectedly, sending a jolt of recognition through him. Adam replied, feeling a weight lift from his shoulders as he turned to follow the directions. That simple word "sir" echoed in his mind, igniting a flicker of confidence buried deep inside. It was a word he hadn't been called in a long time, and it felt oddly empowering, like a small affirmation of his existence. As he made his way down the street, he couldn't help but look back at the bellhop. The young man waved, his grin wide, exuding a spirit that was infectious. With every step, Adam felt lighter, as if the rain was cleansing him of his burdens. Entering the hotel felt like stepping into another world. The grandeur overwhelmed him, antique furniture, ornate chandeliers, and a lobby buzzing with life. After checking in and dropping off his bags, he stepped outside again, ready to embrace whatever adventures lay ahead. New Orleans wrapped around him like a warm blanket. The music bounced off the walls, dancing through his bones as he wandered deeper into the heart of the city. Curiosity guided him from street to street, each corner presenting something new. A glimpse of street performers drawing crowds, the smell of freshly cooked jambalaya wafting through the air, and laughter erupting from small cafes filled with locals. However, even amid the vibrant energy, a twinge of loneliness lingered. He was among many yet felt like a ghost, invisible in a city full of life. He stepped into a dimly lit bar, the sound of live jazz inviting him in like a siren's call. Atmosphere buzzed with laughter and music, and as he slid into a seat at the bar, he felt the weight of the world momentarily lift. As the band played their soulful tunes, Adam sipped his drink, his heart gradually awakening to the vibrant pulse of the city. Yet in spite of the lively crowd thrumming around him, he felt isolated, as though he was on the outside looking in. He remembered the bellhop, Reggie, and the warmth in his gaze. A sudden urge to connect with anyone, pressed on him. Just then luck shifted in his favor. He caught a glimpse of Reggie, the bellhop from the hotel, now off duty and chatting with a group of friends. Relief washed over him as he recognized a familiar face among the sea of strangers. "Hey," Adam called out, rising from his seat and making his way over. Reggie turned, his face lighting up as he recognized Adam. "Adam, so good to see you. I could use some company," Adam admitted, feeling a wave of relief at the warmth offered by a friend. Not at all. Reggie gestured for Adam to take a seat beside him. As Adam settled in, he felt a rush of gratitude. He quickly fell into the rhythm of the conversation. Reggie was captivating, recounting tales of the city's rich history, the hidden gems that only true locals knew, and even a few secrets about the hotel. The warmth of their exchange made Adam forget his earlier feelings of loneliness. "The trick to enjoying New Orleans is to get lost," Reggie said, leaning in conspiratorially. Adam laughed, feeling the tension within him dissolve. He didn't just want to escape, he wanted to embrace life, to feel and to connect. He asked. Reggie's expression turned serious for a moment. "It's the music. It connects us all, strangers, friends, lovers." "Absolutely," Adam agreed, feeling the truth of those words resonate deeply within him. Their conversation bloomed like a flower, each word drawing them closer together, reinforcing their bond. Adam felt another layer of his facade peel away. As they sipped drinks and exchanged stories, the hours passed in a joyful blur. The bar was alive with laughter and vibrant energy, but it was the connection he found with Reggie that lit a fire in his heart. Reggie exclaimed, completely electrified by the music. "Dance? I'm not sure I can do that," Adam replied, hesitating. "Come on," Reggie urged, extending a hand. The sheer enthusiasm in his voice sparked an impulse deep within Adam. With a mixture of nervousness and thrill, Adam took Reggie's hand and followed him to the small dance floor. The music thumped like a heartbeat, enveloping them as they moved. Adam felt his anxieties evaporate, his body following the rhythm without hesitance. They danced with wild abandon, laughter spilling out as they glided across the floor. Adam surrendered to the moment, forgetting who he was supposed to be and just reveling in the joy of being alive. With every spin, every step, he felt a part of something bigger, something beautiful. Reggie's enthusiasm was infectious, and together they became vivacious mirrors of one another. As the night deepened, they finally found their way back to a table, panting and exhilarated. Reggie laughed, wiping sweat from his forehead. "Maybe I've just needed a little push," Adam said, still breathless with joy. The spirit of the city seeped into his bones, and he had never felt more alive. But as the night wore on, a shadow lurked in Adam's heart. He was enjoying this unexpected escape, yet a voice whispered that he would soon have to leave it all behind. The thought of slipping back into his old life with its mundane routines and invisible pressure felt suffocating. He asked, the weight of his words hanging in the air between them. "You take this with you," Reggie responded, his expression turning sincere. "Don't let life take the spark from you." Adam nodded, feeling both the exhilaration of connection and the weight of uncertainty. It was strangely comforting to hear Reggie express what he had been grappling with. As dawn began to light the horizon, signaling the end of their night, Adam's emotions swirled within him. He was grateful for the friendship he had formed, but sad to think about returning to a life that felt so distant from the joy he had discovered. "That was the best night I've had in ages," Adam said, his voice thick with emotion. "Glad to hear that. Just remember it when you're back to the daily grind," Reggie replied, sincerity etched in his features. They shared lingering glances, realizing that this connection had become a special moment in their lives, one that could not easily be forgotten. As they said their goodbyes, Adam felt as if they were parting from something profound. As Adam stepped out into the fresh morning air, he breathed deeply, ready to carry the spirit of the city back with him. The streets shimmered in the sunlight, every sound, every sight, every scent reminding him of the person he wanted to be. As he readied himself to leave, he remembered that simple encounter with the bellhop, the warmth of the smile, the way he had felt seen and validated. It was in those moments that Adam realized he had the power to redefine himself, to chase after the joy that had once seemed so elusive. With every step toward the airport, Adam felt lighter. He had come to New Orleans seeking an escape, but he was leaving with something far more precious, a renewed sense of self-worth, and the understanding that he could choose to live fully, not just exist. As the city slipped away in the rearview, he carried with him the laughter, the music, and a heart ready to embrace whatever came next. The echoes of that simple word, "sir," and his spirit of connection would guide him in the days to come. Life was not just about the routine, it was about the moments that made him feel alive. And with that realization, Adam stepped into a new chapter of his story, ready to dance through life once again, just as he had found in New Orleans. His journey had only just begun. The rain crept in like a shy performer, a light drizzle at first, but quickly escalating into a downpour that transformed the streets of New Orleans into a glistening, chaotic tapestry. Adam stood on the corner of Chartres and Toulouse, squinting through the sheets of rain, feeling the dampness seep into his shoes. His heart raced, not just from the excitement of being in a new city, but from the nagging sense that he was utterly lost. He checked his phone for directions again, the screen smudged with raindrops and badly in need of a cleanup. The hotel waltz should have been within walking distance, but the twisting streets and colorful facades mixed in a dizzying blur. People rushed by with umbrellas, laughter mingling with the distant sound of jazz, but Adam felt like a ghost, invisible in a city that was alive with energy. As he stood there, a mixture of determination and despair settled in his chest. He had come here to escape the mundane, to step away from the soul-sucking grind of his corporate job. But here he was, standing in the rain, feeling more disconnected than ever. He could almost hear the voice of his boss echoing in his mind, asking him for reports and deadlines, drowning out the melody of freedom he had been seeking. Just then, something bright caught his eye. A bellhop, clad in a striking red blazer, stood at the entrance of a nearby hotel, watching the rain with a grin that seemed to defy the weather. Adam felt an impulse tugging at him. Gathering his courage, he stepped into the rain, letting the drops fall on his face. He called out, his voice barely audible over the roar of the rain. "Can you help me?" The bellhop turned, his smile growing wider as he assessed the soaked stranger before him. "Of course, sir, you're almost there." He gestured with confidence, like a guiding star amid the storm. The word "sir" resonated within Adam, lighting a flicker of something he hadn't felt in years. Respect. "Thank you, I appreciate it," Adam replied, feeling a rush of relief wash over him. As he turned to go, he glanced back one last time at the bellhop. He gave a friendly wave, as if he understood the deeper struggle aching within Adam's chest. It was a simple gesture, but it stuck with him, wrapping around him like a lifeline. As he walked through the rain, Adam began to notice the city more vividly. The blend of cultures and stories sang through each brick and streetlight. The vibrant murals splashed against the buildings seemed to pulse with life, and for the first time he felt himself gardening in a moment of pure possibility. Finally, he arrived at the Hotel Waltz, a charming, historic building that exuded character. It felt like stepping into a postcard from another era. Inside, the lobby was warm and inviting, the air thick with the scent of polished wood and fresh flowers. Adam checked in and made his way to his room, anticipation bubbling within him. He had come to rediscover himself, to find the pieces of joy that had slipped away into the shadows of routine. Once he dropped off his bags, Adam knew he couldn't waste any time. He decided to explore the city before night fell. Stepping outside again, he felt the gentle mist of rain fade, replaced by a more inviting evening breeze. The streets felt alive, teeming with activity. The laughter bounced off walls and blended with the vibrant sound of street musicians playing notes that seemed to dance in the air. As he wandered, he found himself enchanted by the sights and sounds. Adventurous aromas wafted through the air, spicy jambalaya, sweet beignets, and rich coffee. Yet even amidst the vibrant colors and laughter, he felt a twinge of loneliness. There was an energy that thrummed around him, but he was still disconnected from it all. Finding a small bar with a sign that read "Live Jazz Tonight," Adam stepped inside, seeking to immerse himself fully. The warm glow of the lights and the sound of music enveloped him like a comforting hug. Tables filled with people bobbed their heads to the rhythm, and the atmosphere buzzed with camaraderie. As he took a seat at the bar, he marveled at the musicians. They played with a passion that ignited the air, yet Adam felt like an outsider peering into a world he didn't belong to. As he sipped his drink, the intoxicating smell of whiskey mixed with sweat and laughter, he couldn't shake the feeling of being invisible in a room full of vibrancy. But then, like a beacon cutting through the haze, he spotted Reggie, the bellhop. The same radiant smile adorned his face as he mingled with a group of people who were clearly friends. Adam felt a rush of warmth in his chest. Someone familiar in this swirling sea of strangers felt like a lifeline. "Hey," Adam called out, rising from his seat and making his way over. "Adam," Reggie grinned, his demeanor as warm as ever. "Honestly, it's a bit overwhelming," Adam admitted, the words tumbling out more easily with Reggie's friendly gaze upon him. "Don't worry, man, New Orleans can be a lot if you're not used to it," Reggie replied, gesturing for Adam to join them. "You've already taken a step in the right direction by getting out here." As Adam took a seat, he felt an unexpected rush of comfort. Reggie's friends welcomed him warmly, and within moments they were exchanging stories and laughter as if they had known each other for years. Reggie shared tales of local haunts, hidden secrets of the city, and stories that made the history of New Orleans dance to life in Adam's imagination. "There's magic in this city," Reggie said, leaning in closer, his eyes alight with excitement. "You just have to let it wash over you and it'll reveal itself." Adam nodded, feeling the energy pulse between them. "I think I need that." Without realizing it, Adam began to peel back the layers of his heart, sharing pieces of himself he hadn't dared to show in a while. The walls he had built started to crumble, and he felt freer, lighter. For the first time, he felt seen, valued alive. As the night wore on, the band shifted into a lively tune that danced through the air like drops of rain. Reggie exclaimed, pulling Adam by the arm. "Dance." Adam started, his nervousness rising. "Trust me, just let go," Reggie encouraged, a sparkle of mischief in his eyes. Feeling a jolt of bravado, Adam decided to give it a shot. He took Reggie's hand and they moved to the floor, caught in an exhilarating moment. The music wrapped around them, and suddenly Adam felt the rhythm speak to him, his body responding without reservation. In a swirl of movement and laughter, he began to lose himself. He spun and twirled, letting the joy of the moment envelope him like a warm embrace. Each song resonated within him, echoing the freedom he craved. Eventually, they collapsed back into their seats, breathless and laughing, hearts light. Adam felt a warmth spreading through him, something genuine and real. "There you go," Reggie exclaimed, his grin infectious. "Thanks for pushing me," Adam replied, still feeling exhilarated from the dance. But in that moment of joy, a shadow slid into Adam's thoughts. What would happen when he returned? Would he slip back into the mundane, forgetting this feeling? Reggie seemed to sense the shift. He asked, his expression turning serious. I don't want to lose this," Adam admitted, vulnerability washing over him. "Life has a way of testing us," Reggie replied softly, "but you can carry this light with you, Adam." As dawn approached, the first hints of light began to creep into the room, signaling the end of what had been a magical night. Adam felt a knot tighten in his chest, aware that this moment was drawing to a close. Finally, they began to say their goodbyes. This was incredible. "Thank you for everything," Adam said, feeling a pang of sadness. "Just remember to find your magic wherever you go," Reggie said with a knowing smile. He reached out and squeezed Adam's shoulder, a gesture that felt like a seal on their budding friendship. As Adam stepped out into the fresh morning air, he felt the crispness fill his lungs. He had come to New Orleans to escape, but he was leaving with something so much richer, a renewed sense of self. Yet as he walked toward the hotel, his heart ached at the thought of returning to his old life. The laughter, the freedom, and the spirit of connection felt worlds away from the stiffness he had grown accustomed to. Suddenly, he heard a familiar voice call out from behind him. It was Reggie, rushing to catch up. He turned, surprised and delighted to see the bellhop sprinting towards him. Reggie said, breathless, "You need to try the beignets before you go." Adam chuckled, feeling the lift in his spirit. As they made their way toward the cafe, Adam couldn't shake the feeling that something extraordinary waited just around the corner. The energy of the city pulsed around them, weaving a tapestry of stories waiting to be told. As they walked side by side, laughter bubbling between them, Adam felt the familiar pang of uncertainty return. Would this be the last time he shared a moment like this? Would he return to the same life that had left him empty? But just as quickly, he dismissed those thoughts. He was here now in this moment, and he wasn't leaving without embracing everything this vibrant city had to offer. As they neared the cafe, the soft sound of jazz wrapping around them, everything changed. A loud crash echoed from across the street, shattering the warm atmosphere. Glass shattered and a low rumble shook the ground as a car careened around the corner, tires screeching against the pavement, the headlights cutting through the dawn light. In that heartbeat, Adam's stomach dropped. His mind raced as he saw the vehicle barreling toward them. Everything blurred, time slowed to a crawl. He shouted, instinctively reaching for Reggie, pulling him out of the way. In the chaos, the world fragmented into a million pieces. In the midst of it all, a singular thought rang clear. This moment could change everything. Their lives teetered on the edge of the unexpected, and just before the impact could unfold, the screen went dark.